What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the WrestleGasm YouTube channel, where today we are here with I believe it's episode 5 now, about 0000 challenge in TEW 9 Fusion Pro Wrestling. This is the episode where, as long as I don't get cut short during the recording, we're going to make it to the first anniversary show, and I am so extremely excited for that. I haven't booked the next event yet. We're going to get through FPW Live 11, 12, and then the anniversary show. But I wanted to start on this screen because, for starters, we're out of debt now. We are at $998, which is incredible considering we're not even a year into the game. I expected it to take longer to get out of the red initially, but we are here. Actually, was that a thing in the last episode? I don't remember out of the red in the last episode. I think we were close to, but yeah, cash it in. Yeah, there we go. Obviously, the funds are going to change after the show and then before the end of the month. But I think I feel like once we enter December, because we're at the end of November now, once we enter December, we might be in the 4 digits. So I'm very, very excited. Hopefully that means we can splurge a little bit when it comes to the anniversary show. I'm not going to splurge on FPW Live 12, but on the anniversary show, I might bump up some production stats. I might try and get maybe a guest wrestler in. I don't know. We'll see how things go. But really excited about that. That's all I wanted to show on the screen. We're going to jump into FPW Live 11. I've been trying to rack my head around how exactly I want to book these last 2 shows heading into the anniversary. I think I found a story that I'm happy with. As per usual, at our current level, it's going to be a pretty vague story, but it's a story nonetheless. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and jump straight into Fusion Pro Wrestling Live number 11. Alright, so it is time for FPW Live 11 in front of 110 people in the Mid-South. Zeta Zane comes out for her match, but before her opponent can enter, the world champion Sonico comes out. He recognizes what kind of message Zeta was trying to send after their tag team victory at the last show, and says that just like with Alpha Zoe, he isn't going to be a champion who backs down, so he's ready to put his title on the line against Zeta. Once again, Vinny Massaro has to come out and tell Sonico that it's not up to him who he defends to. The two of them worked as a team just fine. That doesn't mean she's next. Sonico says that if he's the champion, then he should be allowed to prove it, but Zeta surprisingly takes Vinny's side. She says that she doesn't want an opportunity handed to her, she wants to prove that she's worthy of it. Sonico looks like he respects her decision, even if he is a little bit frustrated by it. So this is kind of the angle I'm taking with this storyline is, I don't know, I just feel like it's cheap to be like, I want to fight you for the championship. Alright, let's have a championship match. I feel like, and I hope no one gets upset at this, that to me is AEW booking. I feel like most AEW storylines, not all of them obviously, but most of them are, I want to fight this person, so we're going to have a match next week. Match happens, that's it. Right? That's most AEW storylines. I don't want to do that. I know it's a bit more acceptable with something like FPW, where it's once a month shows with very limited cards based on budget, so it's acceptable, but it's still not ideal, so I don't want to do that. So something as simple as Zeta saying, no, I want to earn my shot, is enough to I feel at least, bring some life to the storyline, you know? So that being said, Zeta is not going to be the only person coming out of the championship. I just want to get that mentioned early, because I don't want you guys to think, oh, Zeta, like that's the end game, Sonico versus Zeta. There is someone else. As to whether Zeta wins or the other person wins, we'll see, but you'll find out who that person is in just a little bit. And about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Zeta Zhang defeated Exodus Prime in 11-12 by submission with a sleeper hold. Segment rating 41, love that, that's awesome to see. Zeta getting a 51 is awesome. I believe this is only her 3rd rating in the 50s. There was the championship match and the tag team match last month. So if this being a casual match and she's still getting in the 50s, that leads me to believe that she will start getting ratings in the 50s, and that's what we love to see. Very, very happy about that. And about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Cal Jack defeated Josh Cody in 803 by submission. A couple things to note here. First of all, shout out to the guy who came in my comments and said that he wants more Josh Cody. Josh Cody is here. But as I said last time, the idea with Cal Jack is just to give him a bunch of matches until he can get in good form. because he has 70 plus star quality, which was a challenge set to me by someone, was to get someone in the comments rather, is to get a wrestler with 70 plus star quality and try and build them into a star. So that's what we're going to try and do, but the pool of talent is very limited at the moment, given our current size. So Kajak is the person we went with. It's not turning out great so far, obviously. Josh Cody was rusty, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, so not great, but didn't expect much out of this. I hope to see Kajak improving soon, but whether that happens or not, I don't know. And about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Stephen Wolf defeated Ruben Steele in 11:38 by pinfall with a treaty breaker. Now these guys have fought in a tag team match before, but now they are fighting in some singles action. 41.7 rating is awesome. Yeah, not a lot to say about this, but there is a lot to say about this next part. After the match, Stephen Wolf grabs the microphone and acknowledges the fact that he's lost more matches than he's won in FPW, and that's not what people should expect out of a pillar of the company. But he's sick and tired of being used as a stepping stone, someone that's viewed as a rung on the ladder to the World Championship instead of someone who's in the title picture. So if Zeta's name is getting thrown around for a title shot, then so should his. Vinny Massaro comes out and makes an off-the-cuff decision. He admits that this may be against his better judgment, but since they are both pillars of the company, it just feels right. Next month, Zeta Zhang and Stephen Wolf will face off in a #1 contenders match, with the winner challenging Sonico for the World Championship at FPW's first anniversary show. So a couple things to acknowledge here. First of all, Stephen Wolf is the other contender I was mentioning earlier. That's probably to be expected because of the pillar system. Now, here's the thing. I want to stick with the idea of the pillars for a while because it is something I am genuinely committed to and trying to book them around. I'm considering it a challenge to keep Stephen Wolf, Sonico, and Zeta as, like, they don't always have to be the best of the best or the main faces of the company, but I want them to be very prominent parts of the company. And so to conclude the first year, getting to the first anniversary show, I felt it was only right to kind of round the first year of FPW with the pillars, the people who have kind of brought FPW the pretty significant growth that it's seen so far. So yeah, next month at FPW Live 12, it'll be Stephen Wolf and Zeta Zhang. Winner faces Sonico at the first anniversary. Then the main event match, in a bout that had superb wrestling and good heat, Sonico defeated Ryan Davidson in 15:59 by pinfall with an EMF. Not the first time they've fought, but that's fine. I just needed a match that I knew would be good to cap off the show, be the main event, and a 45 rating does exactly that. That is awesome. The performance ratings may be a little bit more concerning, though. Well, not necessarily concerning. Maybe in the case of Ryan Davidson, that's a little bit lower than I would expect from him. Sonico, I would hope to be getting, at least soon, consistent 50s, but, you know, the summit rating itself is awesome, so I cannot complain there. Finish the show, address the locker room. Okay, so what do we want to do here? I'm thinking Zeta deserves to be praised, and I'm thinking, Sonico would make sense. Can I go Kajak? Is there, because given some encouragement, told that they could do better, maybe told that they could do better, because given some encouragement, I don't know if that's encouragement in the sense of you did well, so like keep high spirits, or if that's giving some encouragement as like, hey, you might need to be doing a little bit more, you know. So I'm not sure about that one, so I'm just going to go told they could do better. I've never done, well, not never, but I rarely ever do like negative feedback in the address the locker room part, so I don't know how this is going to go. Zeta Zhang seemed pleased, didn't seem too concerned with your speech, at least for now. Okay, maybe not the ideal choice. Financial report with us $137, which is still pretty good, actually. 761 is what we end on. Popularity recap. Didn't gain any pop there, but that's bound to happen every few months, you know. Alright. We are going to head back to the main screen. As per usual, I will stop on the main screen and show you guys if there's anything important. If the only important thing is that we cross over into the 4 digits of money, I will probably just show you in the next show anyways, not the main screen. But yeah, unless that happens, I will see you guys at FPW Live 12. Right, so we are now on the 19th of December. It's about to be FPW Live number 12. However, a couple things I wanted to point out real quick. First and foremost, we have hit the 4 digits, ladies and gentlemen. A small achievement in hindsight, but a huge achievement given the context of the series. And this is also going to be our first show where we have, where is it, level 2 merchandise, which means we're going to be getting 50 cents per fan in attendance, which means we're going to be getting roughly $50 from merchandise, which is awesome. And then, of course, the other thing I want to point out, as you can see from this section over here, I did something that's potentially a dumb idea at the moment, but I did it anyways, kind of impulsively, but I'm also excited to see how it turns out. I just went ahead and I signed a roster. So as you guys know, the system so far has been keep a very small roster and then bring in local workers to fill out the card. That helped us financially tremendously, but I want to start getting a roster together. So I signed a bunch of people who are cheap, who I think would work really well. Some people I'm very familiar with and I'm excited to book. For example, Shazza McKenzie is someone I've been watching live since 2011, I believe. So, you know, some other recognizable faces. Izzy Marino, that's the Bailey girl. You've got the Sons of Devon. You've got Rachel Rose is back. Some people we've had on local worker deals like Ace Perry. Ruben Steele's back. Yeah, I'm very excited. Johnny Robbie, that's someone who I've been learning about recently because of the FPW series. I've been watching a bit of West Coast Pro, and so I've been checking her out there. Yeah, just we've got a roster now. So some of them might not work out. Most of them are going to have ring rust. So I'm going to trial everyone and see how it goes and just kind of work from there. So again, it could be a stupid idea. Probably is. But it's what I wanted to do. So we're getting a roster together now. The other thing I'll say is this show is going to be quite different. There's not going to be any angles because we don't really need them this time. The only kind of storytelling we're doing is we have a number 1 contenders match. Other than that, it's just going to be straight up matches, just kind of sampling our new roster members, which the new roster members are on average about $10 more expensive than our original roster members. So we're still doing pretty well financially in terms of contract. But the main change that's happening this episode is we have 5 matches instead of 4. Again, probably a dumb idea at this point, but the anniversary show is going to have an extra match anyways, so why not try it out now? And that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's try it out. This is FPW Live number 12. In about the head, good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Lowrider defeated Trey Lamar in 10:33 by submission. Trey Lamar was rusty. That's something we're going to get on most people, unfortunately. But yeah, Lowrider needed a bit of momentum. I thought this would be a decent little match, and it was, considering the ring rust was a part of it. I think that worked out pretty well. We have also, I forgot to mention, 110 people in attendance, which is pretty damn good. In a decent match, Izzy Marino defeated Rachel Rose in 9:28 by submission. Of course, ring rust playing a factor again. A 13, even with ring rust, that is pretty disappointing. Obviously, I'm not going to make any cuts just yet. I want to wait till we get ring rust off of them before we do anything with them. But yeah, not a great first impression by Izzy. And then Rachel, of course, we've had previously in local worker deals. Yeah, our segment ratings are going to be brought down quite a bit by this. Probably not the best idea by me. And about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The Dawson brothers defeated TNT in 11:18 when Dave Dawson pinned Terrell Hughes. So this was something I really wanted to kind of emphasize, is starting to gradually build a tag team division. Now that we can get into a position where we can kind of afford to do more tag team matches, I really want to put emphasis on that. So we've got TNT, we've got the Dawson brothers, we've got Superiority Complex, and hopefully more teams to come. But pretty good performances. The Dawsons did an awesome job there. TNT did okay, not bad. We can work with that. Everyone did really good in the gimmick department. Tag Team Specialist bonus. You know what? I can't really complain about that. That's probably as best as I could have hoped for with this match. And About That had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Al Pizzo defeated Ruben Steele in 12-17 by submission. Ruben Steele, of course, we've had on a local worker deal several times now because he's performed really well for us. He is now officially on the roster. Al Pizzo needed some momentum. So yeah, that match is pretty self-explanatory. Gets our first match in the green. Now it is time for the main event, the number one contenders match, 2 of the 3 pillars, Stephen Wolf, Zeta Zhang, winner faces Sonico for the World Championship at the first anniversary. And About That, superb wrestling and good heat, Zeta Zhang defeated Stephen Wolf in 15:08 by submission with a sleeper hold. Now, I believe 47 is the best match we've had yet. Could be wrong, but I believe that is the best match we've had yet. And for our best match, they don't even crack the 50s, and Sonico's not even in the match. I don't know, I'm kind of stunned by that, but I'm certainly not going to complain. To be fair, it had a creative finish that worked. It had a hot storyline going into it. But yeah, Zeta Zhang defeats Stephen Wolf, which means if we go pre-booking, first anniversary pre-book match, it is going to be Sonico and Zeta Zhang. It's going to be for the FPW World Championship, and then I'll change the segment length and the road agent notes once the time comes. But pre-book that, we now have our main event set for the first anniversary show. So we're going to go ahead and finish the show. 42 rated. That might be our best rated show as well. I'll have to check. Address the locker room. Okay. Now, I kind of want to praise Zeta Zhang and Stephen Wolf because they put on what I do generally believe is the best match in FPW history so far. But I would be basing it off their performance ratings, and they didn't crack the 50s, which means I still could. One thing I want to do, though, is I want to go to Izzy, and I want to do the thing that I think I messed up with Cal Jack on the last show. I want to go give him some encouragement instead of told they could do better. So I'm going to do that, and then for the second spot, I will give it to Zeta Zhang and praise, because I think Zeta was 48 and Stephen Wolf was 45, I believe. So let's do that. Seemed pleased, was pleased. Financial report. We lost 284, so we did lose a bit more money than usual, but that's to be expected because it's an extra match, there's a tag team match, and slightly more expensive contracts. But we still end up really good. As long as we make a profit this month, then I'm happy with the decisions that I've just been making. Pop is up to a 9. Alright, head back to the main screen. I'll show you guys the main screen if there's something important. If not, I will have a look at like the top rated match and show that we've done so far, and if it is Zeta Zhang and Stephen Wolf and FPW Live 12, I will let you guys know once we're at the anniversary show. But yeah, other than that, I will see you guys at the first anniversary. So we are back on the main screen. It is now 2027. We have officially made it a year into the game. I wasn't going to stop on the main screen unless there was something important, and I completely forgot, or I just didn't anticipate really, because it just slipped my mind. The end of year awards. I thought maybe you guys would want to join me in looking through the end of year awards. But before that, I will just clarify, the December show was our best show, and Zeta Zhang, Stephen Wolf was our best match. Which I'm really, really happy by. I also have some emails. End of year awards, yes, thank you very much. Progress and AWG are now gone. They have declared bankruptcy. They have closed up shop. In an ideal world, I would have loved to have bought them out, but even if I was a high enough level to do it, I definitely wasn't a high enough wallet for it. So, yeah, the end of year awards for... Oh, I forgot FPW. The companies specifically had their own end of year awards. Okay. We'll have a look at that, but before that I want to look at the end of year awards for the wrestling world in general. Now, I did see the first one because it obviously pops up immediately, and it's one that I actually think is really cool. The male wrestler of the year is my boy Kyle Fletcher. I am a massive Kyle Fletcher fan, and I may be biased, because I was watching him on the indies. He was wrestling in my hometown. I got to chat with him and whatnot when he was going by the character of Instagram, where he was this like Instagram hipster themed luchador. And now he's fucking, you know, Kyle Fletcher. Like he's in my opinion one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet right now. So to see him get the Male Wrestler of the Year award in the game is awesome. So let's go and have a look at the other awards. Female Wrestler, Io Sky, that makes complete sense. Company, okay, sure. I guess by the game standards, I get it, but it is what it is. Male Tag Team is Takeshita and Fletcher, of course it is. Female Tag Team is Athena and Hikaru Shida. Okay, I dig that. Match of the Year is Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher at Full Gear. That would, yeah, I could see that winning easily. Show of the Year is Backlash. Male Young Wrestler is Javon Evans. Female Young Wrestler is AZM. Male Veteran Wrestler is Randy Orton. Female Veteran Wrestler Becky Lynch. Most Improved Company AEW. Now, I should specify, obviously FPW is not going to win any of these awards. If it was going to win something, this would be a neat one to win, but we're obviously not winning a damn thing, so I want to get that illusion out of our heads real quick. Male Independent Wrestler is Takeshita. Female Independent Wrestler is Sari. Male Manager, is it pronounced Sari? I know Sari is a fairly popular one, but I've heard the name pronounced many different ways, so I apologize. Male Manager of the Year is Paul Heyman. Female Manager is Holly Cameron. Okay. Male Play-by-Play Commentator, we have Tom Phillips. Female Play-by-Play, we have Aihara. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Male Commentator is Milano Collection. Female Commentator, we have Bull Nakano. Male Ref, we have good old Charles Robinson. And female Ref is, of course, Aubrey Edwards. So that is our end of year awards for the database. This is going to be a much longer episode than I anticipated because I didn't clock that I'd be stopping for all this stuff. That's fine. End of year awards for FPW, if there are any. Let's have a look. Male Wrestler of the Year is Sonico. Oh, we have a few. Okay. Sonico. Okay, well, male Ref of the Year, easy. Justin Borden. We'll go Female Wrestler. I'm going to put my money on it being Zeta Zhang. Yep. And then Card of the Year and Match of the Year, I think, is going to be the top ones that we mentioned just before. It's going to be FPW Live 12, and it's going to be Zeta Zhang versus Steve Wolf. So Card of the Year, yep, it's 12. Match of the Year, Zeta Zhang, Steve Wolf. Very self-explanatory. Realistically, there wouldn't be a referee of the year because we have one referee. So, I mean, you know, it's nice to acknowledge him nonetheless. But, yeah, that I think we looked already at our finances heading into the new year, but we are kicking things off strong. So, with that being said, I'm going to simulate 22 days to get to the first anniversary show, which I do have set to be, as you can see down here, a season finale. So, hopefully we get a bit of a boost heading into this show. But yeah, I will see you guys there. Guys, it is time. This is the first anniversary show. I'm so excited that we're actually here. Hopefully we have many more anniversary shows to come in this series. As you can see, we're sitting pretty at $3,000 at the moment, which is a good sign. That being said, I started off the last show by saying I did something that would probably be a bad idea financially. I'm here to say that again. First things first, I tried to see if I could maybe bump up just one of the production stats, but everything was either too expensive or too pointless at this point. So we're still on the bare minimum production levels for this show. But the one thing I did do, as you can see here, is I've signed Todd Kennelly. Now, Todd Kennelly can act as both a play-by-play commentator and a color commentator, and he has pretty decent stats in both, at least for this level. The problem is, if we go to contract, he's $160 per show. For comparison, our referee is 40, and then everyone else is 30 and below. So he is expensive as hell for us currently right now. currently right now. They both mean the same thing. Anyways, expensive as hell. But it's a thing of like, if it doesn't work out, if it costs too much, I'm happy to let this just be a test show, right? This is the anniversary. If I'm gonna test it out on any show, it's gonna be the anniversary show, because this is our season finale. This is our WrestleMania, our Slammiversary, you know. So yeah, if it proves to be too much, I won't keep using him, but I want to give it a shot at the very least, because we don't need a commentator at this level, but it would be nice. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. It is, once again, a 5-match card, but I think I've managed to spice it up a little bit, so we'll see how things go. Let's just go ahead and jump into the show. So we kick things off with a bout that had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Ace Perry defeated Lowrider and Trey Lamar in 13:24 when Ace Perry pinned Trey Lamar with a German suplex into a super kick. Okay, that's a pretty neat combo. It's nice to see Trey Lamar without the ring rust pulling out a 40. Very happy with that. Yeah, I thought this would just be a really exciting match. By the way, I forgot to mention 122 people in attendance. I thought this would be a really exciting match to start the anniversary show with. I wanted to, because it is still going to be a general kind of card, a generic card, in terms of just 5 matches, mostly just straightforward things. But it's the anniversary show. I want to be able to look back on it and be like, oh, that was actually pretty neat. So hopefully this kind of contributes to that. But yeah, a 43.7 rating to open the show is awesome. I thought, yeah, just a neat start to the card. And about that, had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Ryan Davidson defeated Ruben Steele in 13:24 by pinfall with a frog splash. This one purely came down to they're both good performers. They both put on decent performance ratings. I probably should have given Ruben Steele the win because he needs momentum a little bit, whereas Davidson doesn't. But I'm not going to complain. 47 rating, awesome stuff. And about that, had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Johnny Robbie defeated Chaz McKenzie in 11:48 by pinfall. So my logic here was I wanted to have a women's match on the card, and Johnny Robbie is in the database. She's the West Coast Pro Women's Champion, so I knew she wouldn't have ring rust, and I really want to try out Chaz McKenzie because I said before I'm a huge Chaz McKenzie fan. So that was the logic here. 34 is pretty good. I'm okay with that, but they have pretty good chemistry, which is awesome to see. Yeah. Moving on to the next match. And about that, had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Superiority Complex defeated the Dawson Brothers in 15:14 when Stephen Wolf pinned Zane Dawson with a treaty breaker. Exodus Prime is once again the weak link, but I feel like that's just going to be common practice at this point. 43.7 rating is awesome to see. Both the Dawsons outperforming Stephen Wolf. So maybe the pillar system won't last too much longer, but I want to try and stick to it if I can. We've lasted a full year with it. I'm pretty happy. But the creative finish was a failure, but still a 43.7 rating. I'm really happy with that. But with that done, it is time for the main event. Sonico defends the World Championship to Zeta Zhang. 47 is our best segment rating ever for a match, so let's see if it beats that. Huh? Sorry, normally I go straight into reading the thing, but 29 segment rating because of a back injury. And about that, great wrestling and good heat. Sonico defeated Zeta Zhang in 1945 by pinfall with an EMF. Sonico makes defense number 2 of the world title. Okay, so that makes both of the title defenses flops. The first one, not necessarily a flop, but, you know, a bit less than we expected, and it wasn't in the green. This one is a flop, easily. A back injury plays a huge part in that, but I will also say I made it a 20-minute match, and as per someone's comment, I added slow build. I thought slow build would require more psychology to make it work. But someone in the comments told me slow build actually makes it better for people with lower psychology to have a longer match. So I went with that, but I think adding slow build gave us more of a negative effect than a positive one. That's kind of the assumption I'm getting here. Dirt sheet, pretty sure inspirational speech, cool. Raising game for the season finale. Legendary gimmick. Okay, cool. Struggling with the psychology of a slow build. So I was right. Okay. So I shouldn't use slow build because that puts more strain on the psychology or more emphasis on the psychology, not the way the comment suggested it. So, okay, I guess we won't be doing slow builds until we get some high psych wrestlers. Well, that is a really, really unfortunate way to end our anniversary show. But, you know, these things happen. These things happen. So let's go ahead and finish the show. Sustained a back injury. We'll have a look at the injury here in a minute. Sonic got a lot of heat backstage after the bout as it was his botch that caused Zeta to get hurt. Okay, increase that pop in one region. Address the locker room. Okay. I don't know what to do here. I kind of want to give Zeta another praise because she still put out a great performance and in spite of her injury. So that's kind of what I want to do there. Like, she still powered through the injury and completed the match. And part of me wants to start praising Sonico as well because I know he's going to have a bad morale after causing the botch and the injury. But I feel like that would be more of a game exploit thing than a genuine deserved praise. So I think... Is there anyone else I want to, like... You know what? The Dawson's got in the 50s, so let me go Dave Dawson praise. Was happy with your speech, seemed pleased. Alright, injury review. Can be worked through, and it's only for 35 days, so she's only going to miss like one show. So that's fine. We can live with that. Financial report, we end up with 2.5k after the show. Popularity recap, up to 10. Media scrum, okay. We're going to head back to the main screen. I think I'm going to simulate to the end of the month so we can see our monthly financial recap. And then we will wrap up the episode there. And finally, we are in February of 2027 to wrap up the episode. Just to kind of recap everything that has happened this episode, we are ending things off with $3,000. We didn't make quite as much as last month, but that's only by a little bit. That's only a very small difference. But like, you know, I think that's an acceptable difference if we're being completely honest, because we're still going to make increased profits on ticket sales, increased profits on sponsors, a gradually increased profit on merchandise, and then obviously we're not going to be doing triple threat matches and tag team matches every show like we did just then, so the worker cost is going to go down a little bit. So yeah, Todd Kennelly being on commentary did bump it up a decent little bit, but not an insane amount. So I think we're going to keep him on commentary for a little while until we start running into problems. I think if next month, if we're going to do, say, a 5-match card, all singles matches except one tag match, if we're going to do that and the performance is still lower than the month before, like it is just now, then we'll look at changing it. But until that happens, I'm fine to keep him. And as you can see, Zeta Zhang has some morale issues because of the botch. Angry getting injured, so I did give her some time off. So she's gonna take 2 months off, but the first show that she can appear on is only a couple days after she gets back. So she's gonna be gone for 2 months, but technically only for 1 anyways. So yeah, I don't want to give her a financial bonus because obviously we're not really in a position to do that. But she is annoyed by the situation nonetheless, which is completely valid. But then the other negative to take note of is the 29 rated championship match put the anniversary in kind of the bottom kind of section of our show ratings. Like that was what, rated 39, which makes it equal 8th, I guess. Yeah, so not ideal. We go matches. We scroll down. It's right here. So it ties it's equal 44th out of 49 matches. I'm gutted about that, but you know, like I said, these things happen. And then additionally, after the Alpha Zo title match, it went up to 31 prestige, and now it's down to 30. So we lost prestige on the belt as well. But again, these things happen. We're gonna have more hurdles like this to overcome in the future. But that match aside, I thought it was a pretty good show. Well, I have an email as well. Caljack. Oh yes. So several shows ago we had a thing saying that something about his physique. So I asked him to drop some weight, and he appears to have done that. So hopefully that helps. I don't know if it will or not, but yeah, that does it. You know, even with the disappointing main event, I'm choosing to look at this episode as a dub. We're starting the month with $3,000, and that's only going to go up from here. So soon I can start bumping up like production levels and things like that. We can start expanding the card. We've got a good sized roster now. We're going to keep experimenting with the roster and see how everyone performs. You know, a lot of good stuff going on. So very disappointing ending, but overall happy with the progress we've made today. Hopefully you guys are too. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series as much as I am making it. It has been an absolute blast, and I know I say this every episode, but it's thanks to you guys that I'm having a blast, because this series has received so much love and so much support from you guys, and it means the absolute world to me. So thank you guys for following along with this series. Thank you for following me through to the first anniversary. Hopefully we get many more anniversaries to come. I don't know when this is going to go up. I'm thinking it's already pretty late, so I don't know if I'll edit it tonight and release it tomorrow. It might go up the day after. Who knows? But if you're seeing this, then that means it's out, obviously. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and I will see you guys next time.